So we are at 3 o'clock on November 21st. Let's call the Churchill County Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. We will start with a Pledge of Allegiance. So now is time for the first public comment. Did we receive any public comments that we need to read into the record? Or
Pam Moore for the record. No, we did not.
Okay. And seeing no one in the galley, is there anybody here that wants to do any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to roll call of the members.
Sari Kaler.
Ryan Swarzak.
Jessica Rowe. We're here. So verification of the posting of the agenda.
Crystal Machado for the record. The agenda was posted on the 14th day of November between the hours of 1 and 5 at all the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you. And now consideration and possible action regarding approval of the agenda as submitted or revised.
I move to accept the agenda as submitted.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
I second that.
I think Sari came in first, Pam. That's okay. And then all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Next order of business, consideration and possible action on approval of the minutes of the meeting held on October 24th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Excellent. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And now it is time for the Library Board of Trustees report. Are there any of you that would like to start us off?
I'll start us off. I am so excited, okay? Everything I asked for as far as, can you come to my career fair? And that was November 1st. She had a booth and made a lot of connections with our kids. And I've checked with both high school principals in our community, and Kathy has agreed to come in and get students' library cards. That has never happened. I've also set a meeting up with her for December 2nd at 3 o'clock to meet with the governor's office, because I want Tammy Westergaard to be able to help any way that she can. What a bang-up article. I love it. I love it. And her and I met. I am so excited because the outlook, that's thinking outside the box, her plans are amazing. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Does anybody else have something to add to the report?
Like always, I do. First, I want to say Kathy and her staff are doing a fantastic job. They've answered a lot of questions that I've had, just silly, everyday questions, but they still answer them, and they're very, very kind with me. And they have also found mechanic books that my son is greatly enjoying, so thank you for all of the research that your staff is doing. Second, I had the opportunity to dust and reshelf books recently at the library. And at first, I didn't think it would be fun. I thought it would be pretty mundane. But it was such a neat experience seeing the types of books that they have. I was in charge of the early picture books. And as I was dusting, I came across this book, The Three Little Sheep, and it's written in Navajo and English. And I was just so thrilled that we had that culture in our library because it's near and dear to my heart. second, while I was, or I guess third, while I was dusting, I got to see all the different types of people that came into the library. So it was just so interesting to see all the diversity that our library serves in this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Sari. Do you have anything that you want to say, Trustee Swerzik?
I just want to thank Kathy. I met with her this week, and I met with her right before she started, and I think she's doing a great job, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
You're rocking it.
Oh, thank you.
Like Ryan, I'd also like to thank you for your generosity with your time and the collaboration that I've had in the meetings with you. I've really appreciated that. I've been out of town for the last several weeks, and so as I come in and out, I took the opportunity to do a little digging into some of the resources that the library has online. And I was particularly impressed with Hoopla, which had been a recommendation that had been given to me by Carol, and I talked to Kathy about it, and then I'd had a conversation with another community member that is an avid user, and I was surprised at how much was available there and how easy it was to access. It made my necessary travel so much easier, and it made some of those waits in the waiting rooms so much better. So I was really, really grateful that that was available for our community to access. So
Good.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
At this point, I think it's your turn, Kathy. It's time for the library director's report.
Well, I only have a few things to report, and then we have some other things to discuss in the new business. But we did receive the collection development funds for 2025 to be used specifically for collection development. We receive a percentage from the state, and that was 52.39, and we received a one-time funding of 64.42. So that extra $6,000 will go into our digital resources, probably Hoopla. I want to report that on our first day, Monday, November 4th, we had 3 people standing at the door at 9 o'clock. So we let them in, and we thought that was really good because we didn't know what to expect. And then I'm looking at, if it's okay, I'd like to schedule a staff member, my digital services, my youth services, and my adult services, and my cataloger to come once a month or once every other month starting after the first of the year. So you can kind of hear from them what their responsibilities are, what they're excited about, what we're going to try, what things are going to change. I would like for them to have a relationship as I do with you guys, so I think it'd be really nice if we could just have them come, whether they have a visual component of it or not, just to let you know what they're doing and what they're working on. I think that would build a team environment for us, and I think that they're very excited to share what we want to try and what we want to do moving forward. So I would like to be able to schedule that in January, starting in January, if that's okay. So,
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Kathy has one of my former students from last year. I saw Lily today, and she says, I love my job. I love my job. And she loves you.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a really good worker.
Yeah, she's a great kid.
And Lily is one of my students now, and she's fantastic. I think that that's an excellent suggestion. I think it would be a great tool for us to get to know the offerings of the library and the people that are doing it. And I think it's also a nice way for the public to get to know it because these meetings are broadcast.
Okay. Thank you.
Kathy, I have one little question on that. So you're inviting them here to board meetings, or you want us to come to the library?
No, I would like
Okay.
for them to come to the board meeting and just chat, just share what they do, what their title is, what their responsibilities are, what they'd like to see happen, just a informational piece.
Right, okay, I just need a clarification, thank you.
That's all I have to report, so we'll have other stuff in new business.
Excellent, thank you. On the next item of business, I keep bumping that microphone. On the next item of business, the set the date and time of regular meeting for December 2024, Kathy brought to my attention that our regular meeting will fall the day right after Christmas, and I would like to ask the board if they would be amenable to having it the week prior so that we can spend more time with our families. Does anybody have anything that
What day is that?
would be the 19th?
The 19th?
Yeah, instead of doing it on the 26th.
And Jessica, if you could give me a minute to get to our schedule to make sure the room's open.
Oh, thank you, Pam.
Actually, I already have it scheduled on that day.
Perfect, perfect.
Thinking we were going to do that.
Yeah,
We're
no,
gonna, you read our minds, Pam.
I had kind of thought to myself that we had had maybe a conversation at some point, but I don't see it in any of our notes, and so I don't think we actually brought it to the board meeting. So let's go ahead and formalize it if anybody, does anybody have any problem with that date?
I might have a little conflict. I might be in Arizona helping my grandma out, but I might have to totally miss that meeting because she has a very set schedule that everybody has to follow when we're down there. So, but I might be able to rearrange my schedule. I don't know. So,
We would still have a quorum, wouldn't we, Jeff?
Yeah, if the other three members of the board were present, it'd be fine. And then, Sari, if you, for whatever reason, could call in or wanted to do that, that would be a possibility. So, but even without you, it should be fine if everyone else is here.
Where are we with the new member?
Let's finish
Okay.
this
Okay.
item of business, and then let's jump into that and
Okay.
get an update
Yeah,
on
and I
that
guess
one.
I'll just caution about that. It's not agendized to talk about that specific issue today as far as where that
Okay.
process is. So.
Okay. I won't ask then.
All right, so if that works for most of us, let's do a motion to move it to the Thursday prior, if that's okay.
I'll make the motion to move the December board meeting, library board meeting, to December 19th.
Do we have a second?
Before we do we have a time on that, Pam? Is it 3 o'clock? I thought it said 2:30 on your schedule, but I'm just.
Because I book it before the meeting so others
Okay.
aren't in here and we have
Okay.
time to set up.
So 3 o'clock, okay.
So at the regular 3 o'clock time, okay. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Sue. All those in favor say aye.
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 I
Aye. The motion carries. All right, so in new business, we have consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the monthly budget report for October 2024. Is there anything in that report that people need more clarification on? Anything that you'd like us to have highlighted? Kathy, any concerns that we have so far?
No, I'm still pretty new at figuring it out, so next month maybe.
Did any of our members see anything that they wanted to ask? So hearing no concerns coming from the review of the budget, to me, it looked appropriate to the tasks at hand. I would entertain an approval or a motion for approval if there's anybody that wants to give it.
I'll move to approve, I'll move to make a motion to approve the monthly budget report for October 2024.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we've got a motion from Ryan and a second from Sue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
Aye. So second item of business is consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the library gift fund report for October 2024. And in a similar fashion, is there anybody that has any questions, or is there anything that you'd like to particularly prize for us? I'm hearing none. In my review of that gift fund report, it looked appropriate. It looked like it was something that corresponded with the ones that we'd seen in the last month. And then on my end, as a goal for next month, I'll try to get a meeting with the CLA to have a good conversation with them, because I feel like in my end, I need to educate myself a little bit more about the patterns of the cash flow, because I haven't seen it for a whole year. And then I'll come back to the next meeting with a little bit of that knowledge if necessary. Did you have one, Sari?
I just had a question. Is that meeting just for the chair, or is other trustee members allowed at that meeting?
I think that on my end, it is an informal. I was just going to have a conversation. But they do have a regularly scheduled CLA meeting, and it's open to the public and anybody can attend. And I think that you have the ability to talk to them as well. We used to have a
Okay.
liaison,
Right.
and we're short one right now. And so I think that one of the things we could do, if you wanted to take that on instead of me, that's fine too.
I just wanted information for the time, so,
I'd say we reach out to Zip
Okay.
individually and just talk to him and
Okay.
get to know what our partner institution does and educate ourselves as we need to.
thank you.
Okay, so I would, seeing no problems that I can ascertain, I mean, I would entertain a motion for approval of the report.
I'll make a motion to approve the gift fund report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Moving on to the next item, consideration and possible action regarding the report of analysis from the library director of the number of people entering the library, number of items being checked out, the number of computers used, and her recommendations for any changes.
I provided you guys with a document that gave you dates for the 4th and the 18th. We were closed on the 11th for Veterans Day, and you'll see that our gate count was up. We had one less public computer usage, but our Wi-Fi sessions were up and our circulations were up. So opening the doors on Monday makes a difference. And I think that we'll only see these numbers grow. If I was to offer any changes right now, it would be, I'd like to keep it steady for a while and see if we could add programming at some point, but I don't know if we're going to have staffing to be able to do that since there's only 4 of us in the building for the whole day. But I do see growth here in 2 weeks, and I'm really proud of this. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know if anybody would even show up, and we were really happy with the outcome. And we'll have even more, next week, and it'll just grow from here. So we're really thankful that you allowed us to open on Mondays, because I think that made a difference.
You were able to fix the counter as you walked in?
The counter has been fixed. Excuse me. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I know you didn't have somebody just say 1, 2, 3.
Well, no, the counter works.
I appreciated seeing these numbers, Kathy, and from my angle as a new chair, and this being kind of a learning year for me as well, I welcomed the chance to be able to see what our service looked like on that day. I knew that we'd traditionally had it, and it gave me a chance to kind of see how my community moves through the space. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Did you have a question or a comment, Sari? I saw your mic.
I do. I was just wondering, with the gate count, does it count, it counts both the ingress and the egress, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted clarification on that.
Yes.
Do we need an action on this, a motion to accept this report, Jeff?
No.
Okay, it's a consideration and possible action. So the next item is a consideration and possible action regarding the report from the library director of her plans for the library for the next 3 months.
We have done pretty much everything on this document already, so we'll have to move forward from that. The state of Nevada's collection development, we took care of. We are interviewing next Tuesday for the library assistant. We are opening November 4th. I started an outreach at the Early Learning Center at Northside. Cute little 4-year-olds, adorable. I'll go once a month. I have phone calls and emails out to other schools and classrooms, librarians, so I can get some more outreach going for me to do. And I would like to increase our outreach to at least 3. I do want the Children's and Adult Services Library to facilitate a Saturday program, so we're starting that. The Adult Services librarian is going to do a Christmas wrap. You bring your gifts, we supply the Christmas paper and the hot cocoa, and you wrap your Christmas packages. So that's a new program, and we're going to try and see how that works.
Can
They
you drop
used to- what?
packages off to be wrapped?
I don't know that. I don't think so. I
Okay.
think you've got to come and wrap them and enjoy the
Okay.
conversation. We did not talk about that. And our children's person, we're trying to figure out what a Saturday morning program needs to look like. And so we're not sure yet. We don't know if it'll be passive and Legos or if it will be very intentionally purposeful of an age group. We haven't quite got that far yet, so we'll work on that. And then the digital information services, we have set up, I've worked specifically with him. We've set up in January, we're going to start a Tech Tuesday drop demo. So 4 Tuesdays in January and 4 Tuesdays in February, we're going to do VR and 3D printing and drones and our stop animation. We have all the equipment, we have all the stuff. And then from there, we're going to kind of see what kind of programs we need to build. So it's going to kind of be let's see what everybody wants, and then from there, we'll build some more intentional programming from that, since we already have all the stuff. So I think in 3 months, we're doing pretty well.
Take a breath.
We're rolling rolling right along, so, it's all good. It's all good.
Did anybody have anything that they wanted to say or question before I jump in?
I have a question again. I don't know if I misunderstood you, but I thought you said Saturdays were pretty dead, and that's why you want to implement this programming?
I do. I do want to see what we need to do. Our littles coming in at 10 in the morning to get books, and can we attach that to a program? If we have a program, will more come in? We just have to kind of figure out the logistics of that yet. We do feel we need to have Saturday program because it is slow, but we don't know what that program needs to be yet, or if it just needs to be something on the side that they come in and do while they're there. We just haven't quite worked out all those details yet, so.
Okay,
Does that
so it's
help?
just experimentation.
We're going to try a bunch of different things, and if something hits and takes off, that's what we'll go with.
Okay, great, thank you.
I would like to commend Kathy. She was the one that said, hey, what do you think about me coming to the high school and presenting? And I've got it okay by both high schools in Churchill County. They're excited.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'd like to celebrate briefly is the fact that I'm really enjoying this kind of, I have a hypothesis that this might work very well. I've talked to my team. My team has some ideas that I think might work very well. And so we're going to try those and gather some data from the people that are coming through and see what the response is. And based on what we learn from that, we're going to reflect and adjust our programming. This is a really healthy way to consider how we do sustainable programming, and I think it's a really positive way to involve the community in it. And so that has really pleased me, and I think that for our community, it gives them a chance to connect, right, and vote with their feet.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Thank you.
Sure.
On this one, do we need to take a motion for this one, other than the fact that
No.
we seem to be very positive in 3 months? It seems very encouraging. Love the plan, and I love the idea that some of this is already being done, and so now sustaining and learning from and moving forward with it.
yeah.
All right, and the next item, it's consideration and possible action regarding the approval and adoption of the Churchill County Library Operating Procedures Policy, and that is in our packet.
So on the website, our policies are posted, and The operating procedure policy states those hours that are all over the place, that it needs to be edited, it needs to be approved. We need to make sure it says Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and then Saturday, 9 to 5. So then it's all over the place. It's everywhere it needs to be. And then also, while we were looking at this policy, on the second page, we have no non-circulating materials anymore. Everything we have circulates. So I would like to take out the non-circulating materials, maybe checked out. I would like to take that out since it doesn't apply anymore, and redo this document for the website and for our policies.
I did have one question on that, Kathy, after our brief conversation. When we talk about non-circulating materials, our tech that you're looking to outreach is not continued, or it's not considered in that pile? Or
It is not.
Okay.
It's not barcoded, and it's not in our catalog, so somebody wouldn't, a patron wouldn't see it.
Okay.
The only thing that we talked about as the staff that could be considered non-circulating would be the yearbooks, because those are hard to replace. And if somebody walks off with a yearbook from 1972, we can't replace that. But most of the time, somebody comes in and looks for something, and then it's used in-house. I don't foresee that we would need to have anything that's non-circulating. The drones and the VR are all used in-house, and they're not available in the catalog to circulate. So they're really a tool for us to use for programming, not a collection piece.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I explained that correctly.
That does. The only reason I would maybe leave it would be to leave a place in our policy for something that might come to us into a collection that we would then want to hold, like the yearbooks, as a non-circulating. But if you don't foresee that as something that you would accept that kind of a donation, or somebody would make that come into us, then I have no problem removing this if it's not applicable to your day-to-day.
That's a really good question. I believe in 100% access because I'm a librarian, so if we have it, you should have access to it. So a non-circulating piece probably wouldn't, maybe the big, huge unabridged dictionary wouldn't circulate, but it's so old that we need a new one anyways because the words are different now. So I just don't see that we would have non-circulating materials to circulate. I can see us having non-checkable items for programming, but that's a whole different piece. But if they were going to come in and want to take something, I think that they should have access to everything that we have. It's their library, so. But I'm okay if you want to leave it too. I just figured if we were going to do this piece with the hours, we should maybe look at that piece also.
Those are my only questions that I had. I'd throw it back to the other members of the board to see if they have any concerns with it. I am absolutely happy following your lead, knowing as you do the materials that you have and how the public uses them. Does anybody else on the board have any questions or concerns about making these changes, or any discussion that they'd like to engage in? Then I am comfortable entertaining a motion on this to accept the changes as described.
I'll make a motion to accept the changes as described in the approval and adoption of the Churchill County Operating Procedures Policy.
Thanks, Sue. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, so we are now to the second public comment opportunity. Does anybody want to provide public comment in this time?
I just have two comments. I was getting my nails done yesterday, and somebody that's been here forever said, "Oh my gosh, I went to the library." She's amazing. And then what you just said is, it's their library. Some people don't get that concept. I get it, because it's not my school, it's community school. So I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Is there anybody else that wants to give a piece of public comment during this time? Then at this point, I think we move to adjournment. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.